Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to look at how you can plot several lines for or in the same Microsoft Excel graph or sheet. Stay with me till the end of the video as you explore step-by-step procedure by which you can follow and plot several lines on the same Excel sheet. So let's first begin by launching our Microsoft Excel application. So you type Excel, then you press enter to launch your Microsoft Excel application on your computer, or if you have the Excel app displayed on your desktop, you can just press or click on that to open the application. So let's begin by launching the Excel app and see how you can go by plotting several lines on the same Microsoft Excel graph. Now this is a Microsoft Excel. Let's enlarge it, and we are going to use data. So we are going to use this data to plot several lines on the same Microsoft Excel sheet. So basically, if you have a graph is made of the vertical one, which is the independent variable, and the horizontal line or the horizontal axis, which is the dependent variable. So in cases, you can have several dependent variables against one independent variable, or several independent variables against one dependent variable. You can get or go by displaying several graphs on the same or several lines on the same Microsoft Excel sheet. So in my case, I'm going to use these values, which is more, I want to use more like a displacement time graph. So for a displacement time graph, it is just a graph of displacement against time. So for a graph of displacement against time, we are going to have the displacement on the vertical axis, which is what the independent variable, and the time, which is the horizontal, which is the dependent variable. Now, if I look at this, I have just one times against several displacement or several distances covered. Basically, when I have this graph and I take the slope of this graph, I'm going to have the velocity of the moving object. So what this one means, let me change these values to, let's say 10. So I'm going to change these values to 10. So 10, 20 in that order. So I'm going to change it to 10, 20. For some purposes, let me change it down. So 10, I'm going to have 20. Let me say have 20, 30, then 30, 40, so that it will make sense more, then 50. Now what this graph means, let's say I have different motors and I want to measure the speed, their speed of each of them. So I'm going to give them the same time, and each of them is I'm going to measure their speed at this same time. So for the motor, which is the D1, after 10 seconds, it's covered for, let's say, 2 meters. The next one covered, the D2 covered 3 meters after 10 seconds. The D3 covered 5 meters and 4 meters. So each of these motors covered different distances for the same second. So with this one, I'm having several, or let's say 4 different displacement covered at just a single time. So I have more independent variable against one dependent variable. So I'm going to plot a graph of each of these. So graph of the D1 against the time, D2 against the time, D3 against the time, and D4 against the time. So I'm going to have about 4 different lines on the same Microsoft Excel graph sheet. Now, for what we have done so far, where you have just one variable and another variable, we are just going to get a straight line, which is very simple. We have done that in our previous video. You can check on the channel to search for how you can just plot a graph if you have 2 different quantities. So I will just go through, but for the editing, maybe you further learn it. So let's see, I have these 2 quantities, X and Y, and I want to plot a graph of it. I'll just go to insert, so I will select those data, go to insert, and I come to scatter. Then I select scatter, and I have this graph. So here I can click on it and go to add trend line. So this is a trend line I add. So this is the line, the line of best fit. I can do several editings to this graph, where I can insert the graph title, the axis title, the color pattern or the color of the equation of the line, the correlation coefficient, the regression, or whatever. So all those editings can have been done already in the previous video. This is not the interest for today. Interest for today is you want to plot several lines on this same graph sheet. So how are you going to go about it? To do that, we are not going to follow this same pattern. For this pattern has been already on the channel, so you can search for it and learn how to plot that graph. With this, I can apply several editing to it, so we've learned that already in the previous videos. So let's delete and get back to the business for the day. Now let's say I want to plot different lines. Basically, we're going to have 4 lines, which is going to be a graph of this D1 against time, sorry, D2 against time, D3 against time, and D4 against time. To do that, just select any empty seats or empty cell in the Microsoft Excel. So when I select that, then you go to insert. Then you select this particular button or ribbon, which is what insert lines or area chart. So we click on the drop down arrow to that. Then you select what? Line with markers. So when you come to line with markers, then you click on that to open this blank or empty blank interface. So with this blank interface, this is where you're going to draw your lines of several displacement time graphs. So we're going to have lines of different displacement against the same time. So to proceed from here, you right click on the empty interface, then go to select data. The pop-up menu displays where you can insert values for the vertical and the horizontal axis. Basically, the first one, which is this interface, is where you insert the values for the vertical axis. Then the second part, which is this one, is where you insert the values for the horizontal axis. So you are going to insert all the values for the vertical axis, which is the D value, D1, D2, D3, D4, all here. Then we insert the values for the horizontal, also what? Here. How do you do? To begin inserting all the values for the vertical axis, you go to add, you click on it, then you have what? This displayed. The scale given here, you have this one displayed. So with this one given, then you come and type the series name. The series name is the name of this, which is this one, the D. So you type the name of the series. So you're going to type in D1. Then with the series values, you delete what is here already, then you select all the values under the D1. Then you click on OK. So that one has displayed a graph. So the graph here is the graph of what? The D1. So we have the D1 value displayed under what? The interface for the vertical axis. Next, you go to D2. You click on add again. Then you insert what? The series name, which is what? D2. Then you add the values under D2. So you move down there and select all the values. Don't include the title. Just select all the values under D2 like this. You are done. Then you click on OK. So you have the D2 also present. So we have the line for this. So this one is the D2, and that is what? The D line. When you are done, you can insert a scale for that. You go through that one too. You come and click on add again. Then the next one is for D3. Click on D3. Then you insert the values for the D3. So D3, you click here and come and add the values for the D3. So the D3 starts from this one, which is 5 down to 10.5. We are done. Then you click on OK. We have the next line. Next, we are left the last one. You come and click on the add again. Then the next one is what? D4. So you type D4 for the title. Then the series values, you select all the values under D4. Then you click on what? OK. So we've had 4 different lines for the 4 different displacement. So the scale chosen on the vertical axis is the scale that accommodates all the values in what? The vertical axis, which is the displacement. Next, the values on the y-axis, the x-axis for Excel is always a default of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here's the case. Our values here are not 1, 2, 3. It is from 10 up to 50. So how will you adjust this value? Change the values so that you change it to 1, 2, 3, whatever you do. Next, you come to the portion for the horizontal axis. I said earlier, you click on edit. Now you're going to select the values for the very axis label range, which is what? The T, which is the time. So when I click or select all the values and the time, then I click on OK. The values at the x-axis all will change to what? This one. So this is how you can plot a graph of different you can have a graph of different lines on the same graph sheet. let's do some editing. So we are done. We click on OK. This is our graph where we have a lot of lines, so we can choose to delete this line to have a blank interface like that. So we are going to do some editing. So if you click on this plus, you can insert an axis title there. So we have an axis title you can insert. So you can have the axis which is shown there. You can have an axis title. You can have the chart title. So here, my chart title here is going to be, I'm going to call it a displacement time. So I'm going to call it displacement time graph. So displacement time graph, like that, displacement time graph. And for the axis title, I want this side to be time. So I want this side to be time. Then I want this side to be so this side is going to be the displacement. Press enter and that will just pop it up. Let's try to enlarge it small. You can choose to add scale to this. So which of this line represent which one? Which line represent which one? You can choose to add scale to that. So to do that, let's put this one here small to make it a bit spacious. So let's move the time up small. Yeah, so this is very clear. You can add the key. So you can just come here. When you click on the plus, you can come to data table. So when I click on data table, that one gives me the various or the key. So the blue one here represents the D1. D2 is what? Is it red one or something? Then the ash one is the D3, and the D4 represents what? The orange or the yellow one. So that's how you can plot several lines on the same Excel sheet or Microsoft Excel graph. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to watching so you can receive every bit of updates from this channel. The link to how you can just plot a single line on the Microsoft Excel should be placed at the description section of this video. As I said, has been already been done already, so that you can have access to that. Thanks for watching. Bye.